Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Silver Watchman, and this is episode number 28 of Dead Cells. Now, in the previous episode, we finished off the Book of Mark, and in this episode, we are going to start the Book of John. Now, John has 51 verses. There are no verses that I've highlighted this day as instruction from God. We are going to read it, and we are going to systematically go throughout the entire chapter until we run out of time. And that is how we are going to do the episodes and series in breaking down the Word of God from now on. If you're new to the channel, I strongly recommend you stay, you subscribe, and you comment what you think of the chapter. May God grant you all wisdom. And may you walk away from this lesson blessed. Also, I've started streaming recently. Like I said, I'm still with the same rule of doing my best not to curse. But I did have a slip up in one of the most recent streams, and I apologize for that. That was my personal failure, and I acknowledge that. I will further work more on discipline. Nevertheless, though, let us begin. John, chapter 1, King James Version of the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many received him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bare witness of him, and cried, saying, This was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. And of his fullness have all we received, and grace, for the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. No man hath seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. And this is the record of John, when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, Who art thou? And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Christ. And they asked him, What then? Art thou Elias? And he saith, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he answered, No. Then said they unto him, Who art thou? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What sayest thou of thyself? He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, Make straight the way of the Lord. As said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him, and said unto him, Why baptizest thou then, if thou be not the Christ, or Elias, neither that prophet? John answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth among you one among you, whom ye know not. He it is, who coming after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Bethabara, beyond Jordan, where John was baptizing. The next day John seeth Jesus coming unto him, and saith, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. This is he of whom I said, After me cometh a man, which is before me. For he was before me, and I knew him not, but that he should be made manifest to Israel. Therefore I am come baptizing with water. And John bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abode upon him. And I knew him not, but he that sent me to baptize with water, the same said unto me, Upon whom thou shalt see the Spirit descending and remaining on him. The same is he which baptizeth with the Holy Ghost. And I saw and bare record that this is the Son of God. Again, the next day after John stood, and two of his disciples, and looking upon Jesus as he walketh, he saith, Behold, the Lamb of God. And the two disciples heard him speak, and they followed Jesus. And Jesus turned and saw them following, and saith unto them, What seek ye? They said unto him, Rabbi, which is to say, being interpreted, Master, where dwellest thou? He saith unto them, Come and see. They came and saw where he dwelt, and abode with him that day. For it was about the 10th hour. One of the two which heard John speak and followed him was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. He first findeth his own brother Simon, and saith unto him, We have found the Messiah, which is, being interpreted, the Christ. And he brought him to Jesus. And when Jesus beheld him, he said, Thou art Simon, the son of Jonah. Thou shalt be called Cephas, which is, by interpretation, a stone. The day following Jesus would go forth into Galilee, and findeth Philip, and saith unto him, Follow me. Now Philip was of Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip findeth Nathanael, and saith unto him, We have found him, of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. And Nathanael said unto him, Can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip saith unto him, Come and see. Jesus saw Nathanael coming to him, and saith unto him, Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. Nathanael saith unto him, Whence knowest thou me? Jesus answered, and said unto him, Before that Philip called thee, when thou wast under the fig tree, I saw thee. Nathanael answered and saith unto him, Rabbi, thou art the Son of God. Thou art the King of Israel. Jesus answered and said unto him, Because I said unto thee, I saw thee under a fig tree, believest thou? Thou shalt see greater things than these. And he saith unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see heaven open, and the angels of God descending upon the Son of Man. That is the first chapter of John. I shall return after the small break, and afterwards we shall break down systematically this chapter until we run out of time. And I'm back. So, oh geez. Alright, let's start with how this chapter started. The start of the chapter, we see essentially some of the same lines that we see in the very beginning of the Bible, which is, in the beginning, going down to in the beginning. And in Genesis, we see, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The earth was without form. Going back to where we were, which was John, chapter 1, we see something different as well. And in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Essentially saying, God has multiple parts to him. We then see in verse 3, we see this: God made everything. Everything that we use, God has made. Be it from the air that we breathe, the materials that we use to make things into other things, planets, stars, solar systems, galaxies. Giant space rocks, beautiful nebulas. And God made it all. And then we see in the next verse, in him was life, and the life was the light of men. I believe that this is also a reference to the very beginning of the Bible, which is when God made Adam. Not only did he make Adam, but he breathed life into him. And created a whole new being in his image. But then we see something interesting. And the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's see. If we have life in man, because the life was the light of men, what is that? It could be one of two things. The human soul, which once it's created can never be uncreated. Or, and this is the more likely answer, it is the Holy Spirit. For the Spirit of God will reveal unto you things that you never really thought were possible to be revealed. I should know. God has revealed unto me. Oh, jeez. I apologize. It has been a very long day. It is currently 9:12 p.m. as I'm working on this video, so it's a little late. Let's see. And the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Meaning, what is that darkness? Is it the nighttime? Is it the void? Is it the demon and the fallen evil? Because I do believe that every man has a possibility and a capability of performing great and good acts. But that really does depend on how they were raised. If you're raised to be bad, then you're going to do bad. But then again, you got people like me that are just weird. In that sense, I don't act like my parents. I don't act like anybody I know. The only explanation could be I've just been influenced by God with my behavior. And just the experiences that I picked up along the way. Not the smartest, that's for sure. But this is interesting. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. So, what if the third option, which I hadn't said earlier, the light is Yeshua? That is Jesus. But we're going to use the name Yeshua as we continue to break this down, as it will be easier. That was the true light which lighteth every man that cometh unto the world. But now we see something interesting, which is in verse 10, which I want you guys to very much highlight. I'm going to highlight this now. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. It's fascinating. God had created the world. And yet, they didn't know who it was. But now we see verse 12, which is another important verse. But as many as received him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. Which will also tie into 13, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. So essentially, we believe on the name of Yeshua, what he had done, that he lived, had died, and resurrected for our sins. And we now have the ability to be called the children of God, the sons of God. But we see this here, being born not of blood, but of the will of God. Essentially saying that once you receive what he had done, his mercy, his praise, his love, and that means you're born again. I apologize that I'm not as quick as I typically am with my speech. Like I said, I'm just a little tired. So now we're going to go down to something interesting, which is in verse 32. And John bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abode upon him. This is John's personal account of what happened when Yeshua received the baptism. Which means that every single other instance that we've seen from the other books, see, a lot of the New Testament is essentially repeating the same story from a different point of view. And then there's Revelations. Oh boy. For Revelations is a book of things that have not come to pass, but will come to pass. But I also want is verses 47 through 49, which I thought was also rather interesting. And they say this: Jesus saw Nathanael coming from him, and saith of him, Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. Nathanael saith unto him, Whence thou knowest me? Jesus answered and said unto him, Before that Philip called thee, when thou wast under the fig tree, I saw thee. Nathanael answered and saith unto him, Rabbi, thou art the Son of God, thou art the King of Israel. See, that's a rather interesting thing, because one, this is a lot of the beginning of, how Jesus went about. And how he got his 12 disciples. But I do like the fact that Nathanael, the second Jesus said, yeah, I saw you from all the way over there. His instant reaction is, oh my gosh, this is God. See, thou art, saith unto him, Rabbi, thou art the Son of God. Thou art the King of Israel. And Jesus, being Jesus, responds like this, which is what we see in verse 50. Jesus answered and said unto him, because I said unto thee, I saw thee under the fig tree, believest thou? Thou shalt see greater things than these. I've been streaming more, now my head feels weird. Are bones still malleable after so many years? I need more experiments. Oh gosh, that sounds horrible. That sounds like, oh no. This is the beginning of just becoming a supervillain. No. Oh, jeez. All right, so essentially, Jesus is impressed that Nathanael just automatically, as soon as Jesus is like, yeah, I saw you from afar off, he's like, you are the Son of God. But we have run out of time. In the next episode, let me just, Dead Cells, episode, oh geez. Episode 29. There we go. For Christ also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, or quickened by the Spirit. That's at 1 Peter. Oh boy. Chapter 3, verse 18. King James Version of the Bible. I am so sorry, people. I'm normally more alert than this. I'm normally less hungry, too. Oh, well. So, in this episode, we have went through John chapter 1. Honestly, this style of teaching is a little more difficult. But it forces me to rely more on the Spirit than by a set plan. So it's going to be rough for the next couple of weeks until I get more comfortable doing this. But ye, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost, keep yourselves in the love of God, looking for the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ unto eternal life. That is in Jude chapter 1, verses 20 through 21. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. So, if you want to do more to represent the channel, help out, or, represent God, go and help out the least of your societies. I mean, helping out the homeless, comforting the widowed, remembering your veterans, treating your prisoners like human beings, and protecting the innocent. Simple as that. I'm not asking you to do rocket science. I'm not asking you to go and save the world. I'm just, any chance you get to do something nice, just go get it done. Because, one person helps out another person, and that person helps out another person, and that person helps out another person, and honestly, we just need more kind gestures in the world. We need more kind people, kind hearts. There's not too many of those anymore, from what I can tell. It's a lot easier to find somebody that's good to you when things are going good, but it'll be bad when things are going bad. And if you know that stuff's a bit much for you, just like the video, share the channel, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, or just watch Silver Watchman's Wares, or visit silverwatchmanswares.com. Once again, people, I do apologize for being so sleepy. I have been burning myself out with all the extra stuff I've been doing lately, and honestly, I apologize for that. You guys deserve a more alert and more awake and more aggressive me. Like, I mean aggressive and, like, passionate. But I'm just a little burnt out. I'll be back to normal by next week, probably. If I'm not normal, in the next day or so. Because I'm going to upload this normally. And for those of you that want to give your life over to Christ, it's real simple. Just call on the name of Yeshua. And ask him to dwell in your heart. He's always listening. He's always waiting for us to call on his name. So go. Call on his name. And let his love flow through you like a river. Let it fill you up. And overflow you. Like a cup. You will not regret it. There will be hard times, but he will be there to give you strength. Nevertheless, though, I thank you all for watching. Glory be to God. Blessings be upon every single one of you. And this is the Silver Watchman signing out. Please be safe.